Okay, today I'm going to be talking about a movie I seen 2, 3 days ago, Nutty Professor. This is a quick rundown of the story. The main character is a big fat Eddie Murphy guy who is a scientist at a school, and he's working on a serum to make himself skinnier. He sees Jada Pinkett Smith, asks her out on a date, goes on a date, gets made fun of by Dave Chappelle for being ginormously fat. The next day, he takes the serum to make himself smaller, sees Jada Pinkett Smith, asks her out again, goes on the same date, but this time as the smaller version of himself, who calls himself Buddy Love, makes fun of Dave Chappelle. The next day, he becomes, or during the date, during Buddy Love's date with Jada Pinkett Smith, he becomes the fat version of himself again. Professor Clump, the Nutty Professor, becomes the fat version of himself again, uh, and tries to figure out a way to make the serum perfected where he stays the big fat, the small version of himself, Buddy Love. And he takes the serum again as Buddy Love gets another date with Jada Pinkett Smith. On this date, he ends up picking up 3 other girls while they're at the hotel for the date. And he ends up meeting with the some someone who could fund the science project for the, or who can fund the serum or fund the school for uh, Eddie Murphy or the Nutty Professor to make more of the serum, but he needs to be shown that the serum works. So Buddy Love gives him a quick tour of the serum, or gives him a quick explanation of how it works or whatever. But he makes a whole like festival out of it. He makes like a whole big thing out of it. And on the second time that on this go that Buddy Love is on, he's a lot more over the top, I guess, with how he just is acting in general because he has a lot more testosterone than he did before. And uh, the the rich person who is going to fund the science thing that the Nutty Professor is doing, says, "Oh, this is good. Tomorrow, I think, meet me at this dinner that we're going to have, and if you present it to me in a way that I like, then I'll give you the funding for the school." Um, and he was like, "Oh yeah, whatever, okay, cool." And him and Buddy Love ends up going to the hotel with these 3 girls. Jada Pinkett Smith finds out, she's like, "Yo, you're a loser or whatever. Like, why are you doing this? Like, I want to be with you. Like, you with these 3 girls, whatever." She storms out. He doesn't care. He Buddy Love the day wakes up on the next day. The Nutty Professor is back. Professor Clump is back. Fat Eddie Murphy's back. Um, and he meets Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada Pinkett Smith sees him and the 3 girls, and she comes to the conclusion that him and Buddy Love and the Nutty Professor are picking up girls together. So no one knows that Buddy Love and the Nutty Professor are the same person. Um, and Buddy Love is the skinny version of Eddie Murphy. That's what he calls himself. And then the same day or that night, uh, another professor, find or figures out that he wants to destroy Buddy Love. He doesn't want it to be Buddy Love, but somehow Buddy Love has developed a way to bring himself back from the fat professor. I don't know how he does it though. He does something, and he ends up coming back. He ends up coming back. He ends up getting small and coming back, and as the another professor is trying to destroy him, as he has the serum in his hand in his lab. And as he comes back, Buddy Love, he ends up locking up one of the Nutty Professor's assistants or something. This white dude who works for the Nutty Professor at the school, and he goes to Buddy Love. He grabs all the serums that he needs. He goes to the dinner, presents his um the serums, presents how they work. He's very small, and he uh takes one of the things to make himself fat and then takes one of the things to make himself skinny again. Buddy Love does just make himself a little fat. Then he says, "Well, now I'm going to drink this serum and be skinny forever." And then as he does this, or Professor Clump, the fat version of himself, like they're having like a fight battle or whatever, and parts of him is just becoming large, and they're having a little fight, and the professor ends up winning, and then that's the end of the movie, basically. movie is around an hour and 30 minutes, but it doesn't really feel like it because how much little happens in the movie. Like how I just described it is basically all that happens, which isn't bad, but it's just okay, I guess. I mean, because it all seems just very fast. Like it's you see Buddy Love. He's definitely the best character in the movie. You see him only about like 3 times, and he probably and the whole runtime. I don't know how much runtime he gets on the actual screen, but everything outside of him kind of is just you know what I'm saying. It's not just it's all right. I guess I don't know. The professor, I don't really. He's he's okay. He's an okay character. He's an okay character, I guess, but he's just not that interesting. I don't really care for him that much. I got to be honest. Um, just kind of like a loser. I mean, he's all right or whatever, but he's just not as cool as Buddy Love. Buddy Love, the character who Eddie Murphy's playing, the skinny version of himself is just way more cooler, and I just so much more want him to win in every way. You know what I'm saying? I just want him to win, and the fact that the professor won is all right, I guess, but it's I don't know, it's just okay, and I just wish he had more time on the screen. I just wish he was there more, and I wish more things happened. Just like not more things happened, but there were just more transitions in the scene, or just more things happening. Like in because I think this is supposed to be a comedy. Just I don't know, just something like more scenes than what's the movie gives. It's an hour 30 minutes, but just not really that much happened. There's the school, there's his house, and there's the bar, and there's the dinner, and that's it. Like he wakes up, he's at his house, goes to school, gets Buddy Love, goes to the dinner. Same next day he becomes next day he goes to the hotel, and then the third day he goes on the dinner. That's like so quick and very little happens. And um, yeah, I don't know. It's it's an okay movie, I guess. I probably should watch the original. Original is probably better. The original could be worse though. That would really suck. But it's an okay movie, I guess. It's semi funny. It's kind of funny, I guess. But I'll say it's okay for the most part. It didn't make a lot of money though. It was a big movie. It's one of Eddie Murphy's biggest. But on this Eddie Murphy run that I'm on, um, from the ones I've seen so far, uh, going down the list, 48 Hours. It's not better than 48. I wouldn't say it's better than 48 Hours. Trading Places. All the early joints that I'm watching. It's out of all of them. It's probably the worst so far that I've been watching in this Eddie Murphy run. And I was expecting it to be the best because how big the movie was. If I had to rate it out of 10, I would give it a maybe a 1, maybe. I mean, it's not a bad movie. It's just okay. I mean, it just wasn't that entertaining. Not that much stuff. If I rate it out of 10, I would give it maybe a 2, maybe two out of 10. Very professional. Okay, movie. I do want to watch the sequel though. I am going to watch the sequel because I have a feeling that the sequel is going to be better because the sequel has to be better. It has to be better than the original because sequels usually just do more. They just add more stuff, especially in comedy movies. They have to go over the top, which will be good if the sequel does go over the top because there's so little, in my opinion, happened in the first one.